when there is only a third, like how can I say, like a myrsky, when there is always just a mess of feelings, positive, excitement, sadness, etc. You're not ready to talk. There is too much to process. There is too big emotional labor. And so many times my mom would call me and ask me, how are you? And I was like, I can't tell you how I am because I don't know. This morning I woke up happy, now I'm crying and desperate on the sofa.
Hello, welcome to Inspire Network. My name is Conrad. Today I am meeting Miss Chiara Costa. She is an activist, a public sector employee, a speaker, an entrepreneur. Chiara is here with us to speak about how to turn shame into pride. She's here to share her own personal experience and also give some advices to the people who are going through different types of shame, or then fear, frustrations, or some kind of stigma from their communities. She's touching quite a lot about the community element into shaming people and how a person could go about this shaming element in the communities that they're living in. So Chiara, welcome, and please let us know first what you're doing, and then we will continue with the elements of the work that you're doing in terms of the community position in individual shaming, or then how could a person or persons, for example, avoid this shame from the communities and become themselves, stand out, and be happy.
So hello everybody, this is Chiara here, and I come from Italy, and I came to Finland about 8 years ago. And I have been involved for over 10 years into activism for women equality, feminism, gender equality, women empowerment, and generally on matters of equality among the members of society. And I am a certified community organizer. And at the moment, I have been working for a long time for the public sector here in Finland, for immigrant services and integration services. And I'm a public speaker, and I have been for 2 years a board member of the International Working Women of Finland community and NGO. And so these are my topics.
So Chiara, could you tell us how has the community, for example, been a cause of dissatisfaction to the people, or a cause of people to feel down, or created the perception that people are not feeling happy about themselves based on your experience?
First thing I would like to say that often the community shapes our brain since childhood. And it doesn't matter how much deep in your community you are, how much religious you can be, how much cultural you can be, still there are some kind of seeds that are put in you during your personal development that then you will bring for the rest of your life with you. And for how much personally you can have been shaped your personality, still there will be part of your way of thinking and your way of acting that have been shaped according to the community or communities you have been living in. And clear example can be when I started, like in the beginning of my experience of being a single mother. I come from a small town in southern Italy where everybody knows each other, and the gossip is quite spread. So let's say the topic of single motherhood is still seen a taboo somehow, and it's seen as something, like something to be ashamed of if it's the parents, or something, that, oh, poor girl, now she's a single mother, how's she gonna manage? And so in the beginning of my process, even though I am fully aware, fully convinced that there is nothing bad or nothing better than the traditional family. For me, it's like every kind of shape of family is the right family, as long as kids are happy and well treated. It doesn't
That's
matter
right.
if a single parent family, same gender family, whatever. As long as the kids are well taken care of, this is the most important thing. It doesn't matter if the partner or not with you. But the seed of my community was in me, and I was thinking, how am I gonna face my community once I go back home? My parents might be very ashamed of me. What is my dad thinking about me? I was ashamed, as we were speaking before. I had the shame in me of being not the traditional mother that I grew up in the community that you should be.
That's right.
And beginning, this was really, taking me inside. Like, I'm a bad mother because I taken away from my son the chance of having the traditional family. That's the only way for him to be happy in. But then I thought, why do I have to be ashamed of? Because in my community, nobody is divorced. Like in my small town, I don't know anybody that is divorced. In my family, I don't know anybody that is divorced. So I'm the first, in my small community.
Right.
And thinking, oh, this is so bad, I'm ashamed. And then I was thinking, why to be ashamed? Well, how if I turn this shame into pride? I'm the first that finally had the guts to do what I am sure that many other women wanted to do and didn't have the courage to do so. And this doesn't mean that I'm any way better than them, just that I don't have to feel inferior to them because I chose happiness. And, even though I have a very, very extremely good relationship with the father of my child, but still, it's in your brain. The community grew up this way. The community during your development teaches you that that's the only way of being a mother. And once you change, it's, and instead I said, I want to be proud of who I am. I want to be proud of being the first one to do something that other people didn't have the courage to do. And I want to be proud of the amazing relationship that I have with the father of my child, even though we are not together anymore. And so I really wanted to start sending a message with this. In the beginning, when I went the first time in my hometown, I went to my hometown for the first time after divorce. I remember, don't say anybody, like pretend you're still married, so you don't have to hear.
Yeah. And that's even more difficult, I think.
I was thinking, like, for not hearing comments, I'm gonna fake of being married still. This is totally hypocrisy. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna speak openly, and this is the way you can change perceptions in communities, by talking, because news can affect, TV can affect, media can affect, but until a certain point, academic reach a certain target of people. The activism comes by taking the single people, talking, giving your perception, showing the different sides of the story, different abilities. This is the real activism. And so I thought, sharing my experience, not being ashamed and not faking that I'm married still.
Yes.
It's a way of doing the activism and maybe empowering other women to choose and to believe in themselves that they can manage also by themselves. They don't need a man to feel completely family with their kids. And the response was really interesting because I could see that some was, you know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly.
Comment, but you see from the face that in the brain, the judgment is going on.
Exactly. Yeah, that's.
But then I got amazing response. Like, my grandma dropped me a bomb. Like, my grandma is 86 years old.
That's right.
Has a very interesting story. Comes from a multicultural background. She has seen the Second World War as a minority. She has seen it quite a lot. And my mom said, don't say anything to Granny because, she's old, let her be. She's anyway a religious person. Divorce is like, a topic for her. Maybe you want to avoid it and so on. But, I grew up with my grandma. I don't need to say anything. She knows it already. So I was sitting with her on the sofa. She looks at me and she says, "Is everything good with your husband?" I was like, "Yeah." Don't lie to me. I know it's not true.
She already knew from somebody, I think.
Yes, she knew it already. And I was like, "Well, you know, we divorced and blah, blah, blah." And she said, "Why didn't you say anything to me?" And I said, "Well, because I don't want to make you sad." You know, like,
Exactly.
this is the amazement of the community, you know, like it doesn't matter the age, it matters more how much the culture and the upbringing have affected you. And
Exactly.
it doesn't matter how old you are. It affects you on different level.
Definitely.
And so, yeah, one of the biggest questions that I've been received, and I think that's an important question, and it came from my dad, was, how are you managing your work life with being a single mother?
Yeah, as a single mother.
Yes, because as I was saying, I'm a very busy person with my activism, with my 9-to-5 job, with my entrepreneurship, and so on. So, you know, like my day is full from the wake up until the going to sleep.
That's right.
And, yeah, they say that sometimes it's struggle. You really have to learn how to make your life calendar be, you know, minute, because you have to respect all the, you know, the times, and you have also to respect them according to your child. So it's true, you know. And yeah, so let's say it's double struggle but double reward, you know. At the end of the day, wow, I managed to put every piece of the puzzle together
in one place. Yes.
And
I just want to still
we have a group of friends. I know that I can count on my friends if I need something. They know that they know that they can count on me if they need something. In Italy, we say it takes a village to raise a child. I don't have my own village here because I'm an immigrant. With my own village here, amazing women. So we, you know,
yes.
And with the same girls, actually, once we had a very interesting conversation. You know, when you're a single mother and you want to start dating again, there is the point that the men might kind of, I don't say pity you or see you as a second grade possible match. I don't want to say because that wouldn't be true, but I know that some men would feel a little bit sorry for you or think, you know, oh, she's going to be so busy, she doesn't have time to date properly or so on. Yeah. I instead want to say to this man, be instead inspired by us, because if we have time to include your fine person in our calendar, it means that we are really interested in you because we don't have time to date.
That's right. I think the message has been delivered successfully. Yes. But I just want to still...
it's all about learning how to put the things in, you know, in the right.
That's right.
To follow the calendar, to create your tribe of other people that in somehow is, you know, like willing to help, and you are willing to help in the time of need. And so I feel it's going great. There are the struggles, of course, sometimes, but I guess every person sometimes struggles with kids. So
yeah, struggle is a part of life, and without struggle, there is no life. But how has being honest, for example, in your community, helped you as a person in your own being? Because your parents were saying that you should pretend as a married lady, but you decided to be as open as possible to the people, even if they gave you an eye. So how did that support your own well-being, in a sense, feelings, and the sense of comfortability?
Let's say it depends from where. Because we had a very interesting conversation with another single mom here in Finland, and she's an immigrant as well.
That's right.
In Finland, we have this situation that maybe for native Finnish women, it's kind of easier to see the single parenthood. They are more used to it. So the topic is not a hot potato for them because they have grown up, you know, with accepting it more.
Yeah.
When Instead, the other immigrant women living in Finland here, they might have the struggle, as we were saying, the personal cultural imprinting and what they see in Finland.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, I'm really amazed, and I say every day how lucky I am to have this amazing other foreign women that went through the same.
Mm-hmm.
And we were empowering each other and talking about the topic and say, listen, let's try to follow as the native Finnish women are doing, because they are used to. Because their cultural imprinting on the topic is not negative, and they don't see it necessarily as a negative thing. So for foreign or international community of women struggling in the same position, we were feeling empowered by seeing another community of women that went already through the stage being ashamed of the topic and kind of freedom themselves from this shame. I'm like, let's see, as they feel, let's try to feel the same, and without the community, without the support of other women that went through the same from both sides, I don't think it's possible. You can't make it yourself. The cultural impact is so strong that you can't freedom yourself from that.
That's right.
And it's not about single motherhood. It's about so many things. It's about homosexuality. It's about money struggling. It's about emotional labor for men. In so many cultures, men should
definitely
supposed to be manly, etc. So if you have on your back a community that can inspire you to change perception that you have from your personal cultural imprinting, then you can make it. But alone, it takes an emotional burden that it's almost destined to fail.
That's right. And how can you get the community? Let's say someone is really in the situation and maybe he or she, because that can also be on the main side as well, who are divorced, a woman or a wife. So how could they find a community like this? Do you go to the social media and search or ask, or how did you find your community, for example?
I think the social media is still the easiest tool. Recently, for example, Facebook has even created the option of having the chance of posting anonymously. So if you are not ready yet to come out with your homosexuality, or not ready yet to talk and put the face about your single parenthood or whatever struggle you are going through, you have the chance of discussing and having an online community without actually saying who you are. And I think this is really powerful, because sometimes people have the personal stigma that it's so strong that they don't want to put their face in, and it's fine. It's not fine. You need to be ready to do these things. It's not easy. And so I think social media is still the strongest tool. But in Finland, we have a lot of NGOs that do amazing job. Like in Italy also, in Italy there are many NGOs, but they don't have the same power.
That's right.
Impact more than power, sorry.
Yeah.
There's the positive impact that I see here in Finland. Here in Finland, I'm really amazed for how impactful in the society the NGOs are. I'm really, really proud of that.
Yeah.
And many NGOs do things like, for example, there is Familia that takes care of, multicultural families, and they also had in the past peer support group for divorced parents. Then there is Nice Hearts. They do very different activity for women, and they also do empowerment groups. Then of course we have our international work in Finland, of course, and then for the Miessäkit, that it's an organization specifically designed for men's needs and different men-related topics. So there is Google is really your friend in this. You just write NGO and there is so much going on in and for what regards the minorities, there is, for example, the Väestöliitto, that is the National Federation of the Family in Finland. They also deal with sexual minorities and their rights. There's the Transfemininit RU, whose president is also very involved in our international work with women of Finland. So there is a lot that is possible. if this community impact is so strong that it's affecting also your on the psychological level, there is nearly RU, that it's an organization that takes care of the mental well-being of people.
That's
and
right.
they have programs for specifically designed for immigrants.
Yeah.
So this is a way to, so basically I think these are the two biggest ways of finding your own community, your own tribe in Finland, by social media and by organizations. Of course, in the non-corona times, there are also local places, like, you know, they organize local groups like in library or in some places. But I personally, even though I'm a very talkative person, there are some topics that I speak very openly about. Still, maybe I wouldn't feel that confident to go to a peer support group immediately, you know, live. I would maybe, at least myself, feel more comfortable first to go off online, and then after getting to know each other a little bit more, then we meet face. But that's, you know, according to the personal style and the topic.
Exactly, definitely. And that is actually, I was trying to think when you spoke about the mental well-being support, because being behind the stigma can cause a lot on your own mental well-being. And it's important to help this mental well-being before it's too much into your brain, for example, before it's, affecting your brain or your personal being so much. How could you tell any person who is under the fear of stigma and, of course, frustrated, for example, in which way can these people avoid the frustration from piling up?
I think there are three ways. The first, accept it. There are some moments it sucks. It's a fact. Sometimes, like, even though now I'm in the phase of having accepted and being proud of who I am, there are some moments that I'm like, oh, I want to take a ticket, change my name, and go to Hawaii alone. I don't want to see anybody. You know, it's part of life. Accept it. Go, have a good cry and get over it. I have a friend, she gave me an amazing tip. I've not used it yet, but I will use it. She said, sometimes when we talk loud, things look, they feel less scary of how they are in the brain. So she would speak in the mirror about the topic. Or if she's so frustrated that she needs some kind of physical movement in the meanwhile, she puts earphones. She pretends to be on a call. She goes for a walk and she's actually speaking on herself. And she said, I know it sounds crazy, but believe me, it works.
It's a therapy, yes. It should definitely be. Yeah.
You just go out of the chest what it's making you frustrated. You're walking, so the circulation and the hormones of the, because you know, rage is also hormonal. So
that's right.
It makes your hormones go a little bit, you know, to be afraid a bit. She said it really works. Then you go home, you try to relax, you have a shower. But this is the first thing, accept it. It's fine. It can be everybody. You're not the only one feeling frustrated, and let it be. Let your frustration go. Shout, say bad words, totally fine. I would put rap music, say bad words with the songs, totally fine. I mean, as long as they don't listen, it's totally fine. Then the second, don't be ashamed to call for help. And help doesn't necessarily mean a psychologist or a therapist. Help is also take the phone, call a friend that knows your situation and say, listen, I need to vent. Let me vent. You don't have to answer. You can even just put the phone and let me talk by myself, but let me vent.
That's right.
Friends are going to be happy of that. And not only with your situation. Like, for example, I have struggled many years, and I mean many, with anxiety and panic attacks.
That's right.
And it's a topic that after over 10 years, still I'm not fully comfortable with. But I 3 or 4 friends on the speed call that if I feel that a panic attack is coming, I call them. And they know already, you know, because we discussed it. And we discussed what to do in case I'm starting having a panic attack, what kind of answers they have, how they can help me.
That's right.
And I call them. I start speaking, you know, and I swear, I'm not saying that therapy is not the first thing to look, because you have to look for therapy, but at least it helps me. So I'm saying this, try to find somebody that can, first thing, accept it. Second thing, find somebody that can be with you through the process. And the third thing, try to step up from your own perception of what it's making you, affecting your mental well-being. So as I said, in my case, as I said, I tried to turn the shame into pride. So why to be ashamed because I'm the only one? Rather be proud that I'm the only one, because I'm the first one to have the guts to do that. Or, for example, I know people that might be ashamed of their sexual orientation. Through the acceptance and the talking part. The third is to step up and to try, you know, to try to accept and live your life, you know, in small steps, trying, you know, to go more from the positive side.
That's right.
That. And it takes time. It can't come, you know, like this
Immediately. It
doesn't come. But every small step matters, because it makes me feel the more and more natural in your day.
Exactly.
And this was also a topic that can be, it's not only for the minorities, you know, the minority of the ethnic background, because, you know, for example, very easy background, a person of color might feel ashamed of his own color because grew up all his life or her life society that takes like account the people of color like inferior.
Exactly.
Let's things as they are, inferior. First, you accept it. You accept your rage because you have the whole right of being angry about it.
That's right.
Second, you create your tribe of people that agrees with the topic. And third,
That's
you step up to, you know, to do incorporate your positive rage in your personal life.
Definitely.
So each of us of small communities of people going through something, at the end of the day, we all have this connection link of these 3 steps.
Exactly.
And we all can use them, you know, for empowering ourselves and make our lives not easier, but, you know, like to make these parts of our life more incorporated in your life. And also because these parts of us is not what define us. I'm not only a single mother. I am also a single mother, but I am not only a single mother. That's not what defines the side of my life. A person of color, you have to acknowledge the color of the skin, because with that it comes so much that goes on in the life. But it's not all. That person has a background, that person has personal experience, that person has gone through other things also. And that person is not only a person of color. So don't identify them only with one side of their story. And so these are the 3 steps. And the 4th step, you know, that it goes as plus to these 3 steps.
That's right.
Find out that goes through your same thing. Don't feel that you are good, because definitely you are not. And in Finland, we are really lucky because the personal stigma is much less strong than in other cultures. Personal differences are more accepted than in other cultures. So it's a great example. Finland, I feel it's a great example on how you can actually try to be yourself, to create yourself you know, an identity and not be ashamed of that.
Exactly. And of course, with all the support around, it helps a lot. I was thinking as well, for the people who are coming from the cultures where the stigma is quite heavy, they could always find a champion from their own culture who can kind of advise them in a sense. They can speak the same language, they can communicate in a positive direction, and so forth. It can help quite a lot in many ways.
And generally, like that's why also I'm really happy to have this conversation with you. It's that you see other people talking openly about the topic, they are most likely it's people that they went through the same struggle themselves. It's just that they are free of the stigma or almost the
That's right.
stigma.
Yeah.
But they've gone through the same stage of I don't want to talk about it or I'm ashamed about it. And there is people that went over it. It's easier then to try to do the same.
Exactly.
And I myself, for example, listen to a lot of podcasts, and I feel empowered by the podcasts. You can find them on YouTube. You can find them on Spotify. And the topics are a lot. It's like, for example, body acceptance, about minorities. This is also something I struggled a lot. Single parenthood. There are so many topics that we might feel very very close to us, and we might not really feel comfortable to talk about yet. But when you see somebody part of your community or somebody that has been through the same and finally has the courage to talk about it, it inspires you, to say, what if I try one day, tomorrow I try small, to do the same.
Exactly. Yeah, and of course, as you say, this acceptance from within helps a lot, because many times, not only in these heavy situations, but even when you just don't feel good because it's a summer day and you don't have so much money to go for a holiday, which is really minor because you have your life you can live at home. But the moment you accept that, yes, this is a summer that I don't have money, I will stay here and make my summer to the best.
Yes.
That already makes your heart a little bit melting and you feel much more comfortable. You can even figure out different ways of enjoying your time and so forth. So this kind of acceptance is very important.
Because when you have other people, you don't need to spend money. You can say, let's go for a picnic. I bring a box of grapes. You bring 2 pieces of juice for the kids. Total cost, a couple of euros per person. But you had like a holiday day.
Exactly.
If you were alone, maybe it would not be that fun. So here comes again the create a community for you.
Exactly. Very important. Very good. And all of these things that we have discussed here, they come from the background of acknowledgement.
Yes.
When did you, for example, decide that now it's time that I will, or maybe, of course, there can be a when question, but like, what type of things did you have to check in the boxes until when you decided to live as a single mother and go on with your own life and pursue your own happiness? What type of elements forced you to? Because, of course, I know that in many cases in these situations, there are so many elements. But when it comes from within, a person usually says that, okay, I have a lot of water, but I don't have milk, and I would prefer to have more milk, for example, this type of things. So what really were your elements that don't, of course, necessarily have to be other people's elements, but those that made you decide to pursue your own happiness?
There is, I noticed through my own personal experience, I feel that when you become a single mother, you go through 3 stages. The first is the overexcitement. Finally, I'm single. Let's explore life how it is. I have been with my ex-husband for 10 years. So I was like, let me see how it is to be single. I don't remember anymore. Oh, single is so amazing, whatever. After the excitement, it comes to despair. Oh, from the happy to the sad side.
Yeah.
Of course, all the sad sides that come with it. I have no money, I'm broke. I have to pay the loan by myself. I have no money. And no man will want me anymore because I am divorced with a kid. And, so from here to here. And then finally, I would say after 6 months of processing all these emotions, I came to somehow the peace, between and this, of the things, on the perspective. I have less money, that's true, but I have more freedom. I have more freedom, that's true, but I don't have a partner to share the happiness with. I don't have the partner, but I have a lot of amazing friends that are supporting me. So all the things, you put them on a paper, how can I say, the pros, cons, etc. And you somehow map your life of the moment. And you have more clarity on what's going on. And once you have clarity, you are ready to talk.
Exactly.
Because when there is only a third, like how can I say, like a myrsky, when there is always just a mess of feelings, positive, excitement, sadness, etc. You're not ready to talk. There is too much to process. There is too big emotional labor. And so many times my mom would call me and ask me, how are you? And I was like, I can't tell you how I am because I don't know. This morning I woke up happy, now I'm crying and desperate on the sofa. So how can I deliver you a message on what's my situation if in one day I have 1,000 different feelings towards it? So you have more clarity, let the up and downs go, map your feelings, pros and cons, then you're ready to talk.
That's
and
right.
The thing were these, like acceptance, pros and cons, peace with your mind and yourself, find the other people that is going through the same with you.
The community.
And the shame. Remember, there is nothing to be ashamed of. There is no shame. And there is no shame not only about being a single mom. There is no shame of being part of an ethnic minority. There is no shame on being a part of a gender minority. There is no shame being a transgender person. There is no shame of being a minority. No. But when your society makes you feel like that, you take a paper, you map your brain, you map your emotions, and then you are ready.
Yes. And in order to avoid the shame, you have to accept the situation. I think that's the most important thing. Then you can go out there knowing that, yes, I'm an ethnic minority right now. I'm going out here, but I am me, full stop.
Yes.
So if there is bullying or anything else, but you know that you are who you are and you accept that. I think that's very important for the people to understand. And I think also it's very good that you have shared all these ups and downs and happiness and sad moments, because sometimes people might think, oh yeah, as you were excited after the divorce, they might think, oh yeah, divorce is the coolest thing to have. So definitely this shows that it's something important to think about carefully and also to decide beforehand and not just go there because it's possible to do it. Yeah.
I feel generally, not only in my case, generally, as I was saying, I listen to a lot of podcasts. There is a very sad trend nowadays of toxic positivity. Like forcing you to be happy of things. Forcing you to be happy of being plus size. Forcing you to be happy of being part of a sexual preference minority. Forcing you to be happy to be a foreigner. You can't force these things on people. You can give tools, but you have also to show also the dark side of it. The more you push happiness on things, the more you likely create sadness in the people that are not there yet. If you overshare the happiness of your situation, most likely you are making feel even more down somebody is not there yet.
That's right.
Be a liar. I wouldn't help anybody to accept more the situation if I would say, for example, I never miss my ex-husband, never missed through the divorce. Dating has been amazing since I'm a single mother. It's all good with my son. We never argue about not having missed. I'm using that organizing my time. No, I would tell you lies, literally. Instead, I share very openly with everybody. Yes, there are moments that you will think, what on earth did I do? Why did I divorce? Life was easier when I had two people's duties. But I can tell you that once that you accept the situation, you are really happy to have control of.
That's right.
The mental life. dating life is hard, but then you might find the right person, and that person worth all the struggle. I'm currently seeing somebody, and this person said something that really warmed my heart. He said, it takes a man to a woman that has another child already, because it to the table that there's two people involved.
That's right.
That made me realize that we might have to wait and work for it a little bit more, but it works.
It works. Yes.
And the working hours will be tough. Like, you have to run from the office to pick the child from school, and sometimes you might go to work with crazy hair because you didn't have time to brush it or something. But that's life. And
that's life.
I would be a liar if I would say that these things don't happen. And I would also make other people feel worse because they say, things still happen to me. Why they don't happen to her? No, they happen. It's totally normal. And I am sure, I don't like speaking for other minorities, but I am sure that even the most liberated, the person of color, for example, might have its own days that thinks I'm inferior because I'm a person of color or I'm an ethnic minority. They can be the most vocal possible, but I am sure that they have their days of feeling down because of their background. So this doesn't mean that they feel ashamed of the background, but still they have the feeling the burden of it.
Yeah.
And if they wouldn't share to other people of their own community, the people think, oh, I'm a bad person, or I'm not there yet because I still feel that way sometimes. So share the dark side, not only the positive side. Forget about positive.
It is a dark side which can help you to be more positive and develop yourself in a sense. And that's very important because the moment you feel it, you are able to seek the right help.
Yes.
Or at least to develop towards the right direction and avoid the wrong ones. Because, of course, I understand this toxic positivity, telling people to be happy the way they are. And some people will take that as it is. And, happiness is something that needs tools. You cannot just decide to be happy this morning. It has to come from within. And in order to bring it from within, you definitely have to work onto that, to realize yourself, accepting yourself, and generate that happiness. Then it's genuine. But if you just wake up in the morning, I am happy because the television told me so, usually it ends into a very bad side, because then you realize that you did not really prepare for that happiness. You just imitated because it was said. And that's very important for people to understand.
Yes, this also goes with the body acceptance, because now I'm sharing all my personal things. It means, we are a community, right? So we share things.
Yes.
I lost a big amount of weight in 2 years. And like with big amount, I mean big amount, like half of body weight. And body acceptance was not something that came immediately. Like sometimes I look myself in the mirror and see still the big lady that was before. And it needed over 1 year to process that my body was different.
That's right.
Even though online you see and read all the things, everybody's beautiful, all body shapes are beautiful, empower yourself with amazing underwear, whatever, positive feeds, etc. That was crap. Sorry for the word, but it was pure crap for me, because I was looking in the mirror and I was seeing myself still over 100 kilos. You can look at positive threads you want, but the truth is that. So the only thing, again, was to go through the despair of saying, I hate my body, then to accept it, and then to be vocal about it and say, hey, listen, it sucks sometimes. You will still look yourself really bad in the mirror and judge yourself. But those are days. And there are some days that you will look yourself in the mirror and say, wow, if I were a man, I would really want me. That just comes and goes.
That's right.
And you just have to learn yourself what works with you to make you get to the point. Like for me, again, it was the community to help. Because I shared the struggle with another woman that went through the same, obviously a big weight, but kind of struggling, with the body image that you actually have.
Yes,
and not
yes.
And she said, forget about what other people think about you. Forget about what men might find sexy or not in you. Try to look the parts of the body that you like the most of yourself and empower yourself. You like your hips, put underwear that show your hips more. Look yourself in the mirror. Look at yourself and put yourself in poses, and look at yourself. And don't be bad about your body. Just look at the side, look in the mirror or the parts you like the most and fall in love with yourself, with your body. The thing I was like, this is ridiculous. I'm pathetic. I'm like a teenager. Then you do it a little bit more. Oh, but I don't have that bad hips. And then say, wow, my legs are fly. It fits. And it's not something that comes like that just because my friend told me to do it.
That's right. That's right. It needs processing.
Not work. But having a community of people that went through the same and gives you tips, gives you acceptance, allows you to have time, that really helps.
Exactly. That's very, very important. And then you are working very hard. You are managing at the end of the day. Do you think a busy lifestyle is one of the best solution in terms of people who are feeling down because of some event in their life or because of depression? Or how would you advise?
Very good point. My mom is like her mom. The mom that man, it's my mom's mom.
Yes.
I remember in the beginning of my divorce, I was never home. Every evening I was doing something. I was forcing myself 2 hours in the gym, forcing myself to see people, doing extra hours at work. Extra healing. My mom said, you know what? You are escaping from your real problem. So the busy lifestyle, it's good to force yourself to go out of the bed instead of crying in bed, hugging your pillow, because that was my other option. But it cannot be the solution. You also have to sit down, deal with your demons, talk in the mirror or with the earphones, like my friend said, and deal with the stuff. Don't escape it. Deal with it. You can take paper, do map, put it on the wall, put stickers, I don't know. But because otherwise you're just escaping. And the moment that you sit down, then the demons come again.
Come back, yes.
Netflix, they come there, And you will be like, I want to do something else, so I don't think about it. But the point is not to think about them. The point is to think, but not to feel them as a negative thing, to not have rage coming, to not have coming from those thoughts, but have acceptance for yourself and have, accountability, but not sadness with those thoughts.
Fantastic. Great. So what can you tell the women around the world? What kind of advice can you give them? Because we are living the International Women's Month in March. And you're one of the speakers there. And I was wondering, what message would you like to give to the women around the world when it comes to make shame to be a proud moment?
My message is that there are so many different ways of being a woman, and all of them are right. You can be a mother in a traditional family, you are fine. You can be a modest woman following a religion, you are fine. You are a woman, an atheist woman, you are fine. You have a different lifestyle, like for example, you're a single mother, you're fine. Every shade of being a woman is fine. You just have other women that make you believe in yourself because they went through the same. If you are yourself alone in the struggle, it's harder. It's really hard to accept yourself. Just find your tribe and collect stories and be confident that one day there will be also your moment to speak about a story with no shame.
Exactly. Fantastic. This has been a very eye-opening conversation, and I'm very happy to learn as well that you can turn shame to pride. It's not a very easy thing, but it's of course something that you need to process it to get it out there, and especially when you are in a community like yourself. But also it's very important, it was very important to hear that it was not only positive all the time, but it's important for a person to welcome both positive and negatives throughout their struggles, not only divorce, but all the struggles that you have in life, in order to be able to accept the situation and get better or develop to the next levels, which I think is a very powerful point, since not so many people are accepting the positivity in you is not very easy when you are in a struggle. But if you can mix the two, dark and light, and then find a middle point, that is a very good mathematic in a sense that will get people to the next level of their lives and be happy, or with a self-acceptability. I think in the future, I will want to also speak about your company and how do you manage that in the next episode. But for now, I thank you very much. This was very eye-opening, and I think maybe it's the first time you're speaking about this
Yes.
publicly, yeah?
Yes.
So
It's actually about my body image perception and about my single parenthood. Both times, it's the first time I speak loud about it. So it was time. Before
yes.
I was not ready, you know.
Yes, this is the time. So thank you very much. This was very, very inspiring to also hear that you could go around the crowd and feel that it's Chiara, it's me, I'm a divorced woman, so, and I'm happy. And let people think what they think, but you were there, they knew about it, and you could be free. And that freedom is very important in human life, I think. So thank you very much, and I wish you all the best.
Same. Bye.
Bye.